biomedical science, there'll be quite a few labs, so we thought it'd be prudent to show you what the labs actually look like. In the Powered labs, you'll have 3-hour sessions. The labs are very comprehensive. They'll be spanning fields from developmental biology and pharmacology to molecular biology and neuroscience. First off, how do our learning objectives compare to other degrees in the biology field at Sheffield?
So the learning outcomes in terms of graduate skills are probably very similar. So the graduate skills are being able to deal with data, information gathering, give presentations, writing skills. They're all going to be similar across the 3 biologies. Where the learning outcomes differ is in terms of the content and what you will cover. So in biomedical science, we're looking at the gene, protein, cell, organ and the whole body in health and disease. In molecular biology and biotechnology, they're very much focused on genes, proteins and cells, but they don't take it out in the context of the whole organ or the whole body. And animal and plant science, well, they're looking at animals and plants in terms of similar areas that we look at, but we obviously focus very much on humans.
How important is first year?
Okay, so I would say level 1 is really important. Although it doesn't count towards your final degree grade, you can think of it as the first rung on a ladder. And it's much harder to get to the second rung of the ladder if you haven't got the first rung properly in place. So it's really important that you work really hard in first year to get a grounding and lots of basic information that you'll use in later years.
What is it about our course that interests you the most?
I think what's most interesting about the course is its diversity. There are not many BMS courses around the country that have where you have the ability to go from essentially molecules, such as genes and molecules level, all the way up to gross human anatomy and dissection. I think that's quite a rare and very valuable part of the experience.
Now, the more studious of you will be able to tell that that's a church. It's called the St. George's Church. It's where we'll be spending a lot of your time in your course with lectures. And it's right across the road from a building that costs £81 million. It's a new addition to the university. It's the Diamond. You have lectures here and you will study. This is one of the Diamond lecture theatres. It's a smaller space, but it's where you'll be spending some of your time, and you guessed it, you'll have some lectures here. To end off, let's talk to some of the previous first years so they can give you some of their advice.
My favorite thing about BMS is lecturers, because they're very friendly, and my advice is not to be afraid to ask questions, because lecturers are open to your questions.
I think those are some really good answers, and I tend to agree with Kenneth. The lecturers are extremely passionate about what they do. They're all professionals in the field that they teach. And my number 1 piece of advice would definitely be to get your hands dirty. Definitely participate in labs, participate in all the projects. You get a lot out of participation in this course.
My favorite thing about the biomedical science course here is the fact that it covers all the major fields of biological sciences. So whatever path you wish to go on after your course, you're well equipped. This is why, if you're anything like me and you feel like you like everything, my number 1 piece of advice would be to think early about the path that you might want to go on afterwards, because it does take quite a while to make sure you've got the right decision.
I think those were some fantastic answers. For me personally, I also quite like the depth. I mean, neurology especially, you go into a lot of depth, you can really start to understand how a human being works. So my number 1 advice would be to really enjoy this course, because what I've realized about university is it all goes very quickly. Whatever you decide to do, whether it's science as a scientist or science as a businessman or going on and doing medicine, this course will set you up in stead.
I think it was good that we because now it's real.
Thanks for watching our tour, we really appreciate it. We hope to see you at Sheffield next year.
What are you still doing here? We're done. That's it. All that's left is you to come and join us. Cheers, guys.